So it's Friday, so why not make a new video for YouTube? So here we are. We had some quite interesting price action this week. We had the third drive higher, taking out the original range high into the what was it, 12-hour supply right here, which was the expected move. However, I did not get my short trigger, which I hoped to get, purely because price was not giving any good structure. Because we had, like, from the low up, if we look at the 1 hour, for example, we had basically high, low, high, or at least I think it took the high, low, but it comes to the same market structure level, which is the level right here. So the moment that was broken, we had the aggressive move down. So at this point, there was no short trigger for me that I'm willing to take, because I don't like to use stops like this and then target lower. Like, it could work because technical target is a lot lower, and so far it looks pretty super similar to the last range, where price also had like 1, 2, 3, then had an aggressive move back in the range, similar to the move we have now. And then price never made the obvious retest of this level. Instead, it consolidated here for a while around the range value area high, lost the range value area high, and since then it was basically some local distributions before hitting the technical target. So right here, we have the aggressive move down, breaking lower back in the range. Then price stayed at the range value area high for a while, broke down, retested it this morning, and now below it. So as long as we are below it, it looks very, very similar to the last range. So it could be that, like, this was already the test, or that we maybe get one more test, but then go lower, retest range lows, and then maybe just chop lower, follow the fractal, and go for all the sell side liquidity. So that could very well be the case. If we look a bit lower time frame, we had the move down, so we lost the value area high. Then yesterday, as mentioned in the stream, I don't know if everyone was there, but we had a lot of sell side liquidity starting from this point. So low, higher, low, higher, low, all this liquidity. And on the heat maps, you could also see that a lot of sell side liquidity was resting there. So during the stream, I mentioned that this was my main level to take out, with that demand resting below it. So basically, since we started to move down, which was also during FOMC on Wednesday, price has been going down and basically just chopping down. So I want to be careful with longing, because a lot of times people miss the move and then they think, okay, the only way I can get into a trade right now is to get into a long because I'm too late for a short. However, that's often the wrong way of thinking, because the trend is your friend. So going down is often the most logical outcome. However, we had this low, and then we had that push up. And during the stream, I mentioned that I want to see these lows get taken out, tap into the fib levels, the demand, which is barely front run, and then trap some shorts. So quite a lot of shorts stepped in at this low. We had the 1, 2, 3 drive, always a super nice setup to play. And then if we pull the range, like, this is your starting point, this is your range at start, range low, range high. This move did not break below the deviation threshold, so you can extend your range to tap 2. Then this is basically your range, tap 1, tap 2. Price here made a move below the range low, but did not close below your deviation threshold, then pushed back. Then I was also watching the order flow, and a lot of short got trapped, which you can also see here with the vector candles. If we put it on, you see that those red candles indicating a lot of sellers stepping in, and then green candles recovering it, showing that a lot of selling took place. Price failed to push lower, instead got bought back up. So that's always a super nice confluence to have with your third tap. Then internally, like on the 3, it's not valid structure because you have one candle going up. But the way price is going up, you can already see this is probably structure on the 2 or the 1. So if we look at the 2, then let's see, it's here. And you can see on the 2 it's valid structure. So the moment here price technically broke back to bullish internally, bullish boss. Oh, it's right here at the third tab, of course. So that was right there. And a nice thing to always look at is like, what is your volume profile doing? So if you pull your range from the starting point of the range till like your third tab, then the value area low was right here and the POC was right here. So at this break, I saw we have some highs right there acting as liquidity. We have a 3-drive setup. We have a internal break of structure back to bullish. We are above the value area low and the POC of this local range. We have some trapped short. So I was like, if we're gonna bounce from this level after taking out a lot of sell side liquidity, it should be from here. So after this move, I entered somewhere around here, stop below the third tab as always. And then target was the range high. Then it was like some slow price action. I went to training. And then when I was back from training, I saw that the target has been hit, which was the local range high. From there, prices followed the plan pretty nicely, because in the stream yesterday, I mentioned how I wanted to see that 3-drive, and then for price to return into this former range where we broke down from, and then retest the POC for the potential lower high. So this being the low, then this potentially be the lower high before lower, and that this is the start of our new range. So that this is our range low. This is potentially our range high. Let me clear it up a little bit so it becomes more clear. And that this is like range low, range high, and that from now on we can start looking for accumulations after taking out the range low, or for higher time frame distributions after taking out that range high. So my optimal reversal level was the confluence with this range. So this was a local range before breaking down, aka supply range. If you then pull your volume profile from the start of the low to the breakdown level around here, then a lot of times price likes to break down, retest the POC, which is the optimal reversal level, and then break lower. So if we extend the POC right here, then what did price do? It came literally exactly into that POC and then sold off. So it followed the plan perfectly. Did I take the short here? No, I did not take the short, because I made a pre-planning yesterday, which was, I want to see price move from here, potentially with a 3-drive into that level and then look for shorts. However, the way price was moving this morning was we had that 3-drive, seller absorption, then the move up. But in my opinion, this looked too much, or it was like from low with market structure. Market structure always overrules the rest. Ranges are less important than market structure. So to me, this was clear upwards market structure. Then in the move leading up into the third tab was also super aggressive. So with high, then on the 5-minute we have a pullback and then a new high. But if you look at 10, then it's basically one straight move up. That's for me not what I want to see to enter shorts on a third drive, because you have no structure to work with, and this is showing a lot of strength into your third tab. You want to have structure to confirm a breaker structure. So the moment this happened and price literally followed the plan to the T, I did not pull the trigger purely because structure overrules, and this could simply be a higher low technically for a new higher high. So right now I'm not in the short. I'm also not in the in a long from here, but I'm basically waiting. We are in the middle of the range. We have potential 3-drive. If we get a spike up, take out this high, for example, show some weakness here, and then break internal back to bullish, for example, with a spike on New York Open, then I'm interested in shorting it from here, stop above that high, and then target previous daily low and lower. But I feel like this is a little bit of a too easy move, and I'm also like right now price is at the mid-range of that local range, so I'm not touching shorts here. Technically, this is our market structure low from this upwards move, so high, low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So this is our market structure level. Then if we zoom in, this is the low, so often I have that marked as a red line. What can also happen is that we watch this local range, so low to high right there. This is our market structure low. If price SFPs your market structure low, so does not close below it, but SFPs it on like the 50-minute or 30-minute, and then stays above it, then technically, based on market structure rules, you have low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, SFP your market structure low. What does that mean? That means that the high that brought you into that level, this high, becomes a weak target level. So then I'm interested in longs back to this level and probably be further up, because we already had the rejection from this range POC. So there's for the bears no reason to come back up again. If we come back up again, then it's really likely that we flip the level, and then the next major POI is around 74k. So there are a few ways how I'm going to play this, or how I can potentially play this. Either short from higher up or longs. For now, I'm leaning a bit more to the long side, just based on gut feeling. But should not forget that we also have like the 3 drive with a 5-minute breaker structure confirmation. So technically, based on the range low should be next. But yeah, for me, market structure overrules. And also, if we look at the move up, we have here aggressive move up, leaving behind demand. Price comes back into demand, mitigates it, pushes up. Here, high, higher low, higher high. Price leaves demand behind. Price comes back to demand, mitigates, boom, strong push up. So locally, demand is in control. And that's why I'm not overly confident that this model 1 is gonna play out fully. We could reverse. So potential longs from this. If we sweep and do not close below this low, then target higher. Otherwise, if we get a move up with weakness, then I'm interested in short. So basically up or down, but that's how trading works. You have to adapt to what happens. Then this is local price action, of course, the higher time frame. Price is holding below the value area high for now. As long as we hold below that, next targets could be this local low and then value area low, and then basically the liquidity down here. If price manages to flip back above the value area high, then this could potentially be a deviation below your value area high. And in that case, I would expect a retest of the breakdown level here around 74k for potentially the lower high, where you have your 1, 2, 3 test before breakdown. But that's also a bit of an obvious play. So I would not be surprised if price reclaims back above, let's say 71.5. That I would not be surprised if we come back to the high, or maybe even make new highs. But it's way too early to call for that. For now, I'm just playing local levels. You will always see that eventually it will become clear, like yesterday. Wait for your clean 3 drive. Wait for a nice return to zone. Break of structure. Always respect your market structure, and then it will become obvious. This level right here had a lot of confluences with VWAPs from the top, VWAP from the low from the start, where we are below. So this is a super key level. Flip above previous daily high, and yeah, 74 and 75 is next. Stay below, and I'm watching for this being the range low, this being the range high. Mid-range is around here, so if we tap that, you could say this is your range low, range high. Play your local range So longs at the lows, shorts at the highs. Then quickly, before I'm talking too long, make sure to join the Discord. There are now multiple ways how to join. You can watch it here, either with Bytunix or with paying a monthly fee. And then you will also get like daily statistical updates from BTC of the watch list, TradFi updates. So every morning, basically updates on the S&P, on gold, and on crypto during the day on my main pairs, which are basically BTC, USDT, Ethereum, Hype, Solana, and Tao. So if you want to get updates on them and also get like a lot of analysis from other respected traders, make sure to join. I think it's one of the best groups for the value you get. But yeah, I'm a bit biased, of course. Then last thing to do, what are the stats? On the weekly, we have a weekly high on Tuesday, and the weekly low is put on yesterday, which is then on Thursday. And then we can see it's a very low flip risk. So 1% of the weeks took out to the weekly high. So the weekly high is super safe, and based on distance, 19% of the weeks took out to the weekly high. So also super low. And then how likely is it we make new lows? Based on timing, still 70% of the weeks would make a new low past Thursday, if the high is Tuesday. But on the distance, we can see it's only 43%. So we already made quite the bearish displacement from weekly high to weekly low. So it could also be that we just range and that this is our low, this is our high, and we just range between these levels. Then that's it. Over or in like an hour, I will be live streaming. Link will be sent in the Discord, where I will go over the local price action. Maybe we can even catch a live trade, and where I will go over all the other charts: USDT, ETH, Sol, gold, everything. So make sure to be there as well, and don't forget to leave a like to this post if you appreciate the videos. And then I wish everyone already a happy weekend. It's Friday, and happy clicking as always. Cheers and goodbye.